Daniel.
Sort of referring back to what my earlier comment, I've been playing for a long time and getting nowhere, and I mean a long time. And I think my biggest problem is I just don't get good tonality, not intonation, but tonality. And I have a very relaxed bow grip. I've done all the exercise where you alternately lift fingers. My bow grip is very relaxed, but the constant critique I get is sink into the string because I'm just guiding the bow over the strings like it looks like most great fiddlers do. It looks like there's just no effort in their hands at all, in their bow hand at all. And and mine looks like that, but it doesn't sound like them. And
Do you
every
mind?
instructor,
Do you mind playing, Dan? You don't have to, but
every instructor I've had said you need to sink into the string. And just recently one said had me change my bow grip from this first space between the knuckles to actually hooking the bow in the knuckle there. And he said, a lot of the greats do it, and I can do that, but I do give up some dexterity when I do that. So anyway, just to help my attention.
yeah, your form looks good. Your form looks
And if I play notes, there's always this at the very beginning of the note. There's always this sound to it. So
Yeah. I first off, I don't think your tone is as bad as you think it is. It's pretty even sounding.
it,
Could you
it,
try?
I just don't seem to get that rich fullness to come out. It always sounds very glassy, I think, and I've had that pointed out to me repeatedly over the years.
Hmm.
They always say it doesn't feel like your bow is connecting to the string.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't hear that. But you're just doing simple things. If you want to play a tune or something, I might
Uh,
be able to give you
here's
help.
the
Yeah.
that was
Again, like
good.
I don't see any. I don't know who's talking to you. I don't see any
Okay, I've
huge
arrived.
problems with your tone. You could always, but it could always be better. But like
Sure.
it's like a lifelong thing to work on your tone. But since thank you by the way for playing. It's courageous, and I'll just throw out a few things. Maybe you've heard it before, but one really simple thing you can do to work on your tone is to play with volume. Do you ever do that? Do you ever play like with swells? And so, for instance, do you ever do things where you kind
I,
of have swelling volumes?
I do. In fact, I'm actually the one instructor I have in person or on Zoom, but he's local. Is it's just the Suzuki thing. I went through the whole Suzuki thing, and I found this guy. I just need to go back to wax on, wax off, and start over because I learned the pieces, but they sound awful. And no one's ever said no, they sound great. No, they do sound awful. And so we're back at book three, and so this that piece I just played, Humoresque, has a lot of dynamics to it, piano and forte. But what I try to do to overcome this lack of connection to the string is I'll play the whole thing just as loud and as growling and as nasty as I can make it, and
Yeah.
back off from there and see what happens. And I don't know if it's helping or not.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I don't think your tone is as bad. I would say experiment with the volume thing. Also experiment with just less bow, especially for fiddling. I mean, for some of the Suzuki
Right.
pieces, you might need longer bows,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. And that's a real attraction for fiddling is you don't have to use these huge bows.
do
But
you,
actually, that's a challenge in and of itself to just play in that slightly upper half and just or up in the upper half and still get good tone and good volume and all that. That's not easy either. I don't think.
yeah, do you ever use the throwaway bow?
Well, because you bring it up in your lessons a lot. I mean, I started off doing that, and
So you could use it. Here's a process for applying it to anything. So you did I think that tune is humoresque you played, like.
yeah,
So you could do it, you do it note by note. It's very meticulous, but you said wax on, wax off, remember? You going back. So, so if somebody's playing, could you make sure you're all muted? Thanks. Um, and so here, I'll just walk through it real quick, Dan. So,
okay,
and this applies to anybody. You start with the first note, just get a good sound, and then the next note, D1. And then you always end the last note with the throwaway bow. This will slowly increase your tone. You're paying attention to every single note in that phrase. And you may just need to build up one phrase per day. But if you can get one phrase to sound amazing, it'll snowball. It'll happen in other things. And then maybe you find one little bit that you repeat and loop on until you feel very comfortable with it. So you could do this with any of your Suzuki pieces, any fiddle tune. You pay it, you really, every note matters. You try to get a good tone on every note, build it up, and just kind of have a small goal. Like, don't worry about the whole tune sounding good. Try to make one little part sound good. And use that throwaway bow to build your tone. And so throwaway bow and looping, because looping will eventually, if you kind of go between looping and then kind of more nitty gritty practice, you'll eventually, like, this tone will get better. Plus, again, I'll just say your sound has gotten better, and you just can't tell. You think it's worse than it is, and you're being, and hopefully your teachers are encouraging you enough, as well as being critical. But your sound is, I've definitely heard worse. Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna switch back to the big view. Yeah, let's see. Okay. So any other related bowing questions? That was really good. Thank you all for. Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the videography. Excellent. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.